Hello friends, this is Scott. If you've been following my channel down here at the hobby farm, my biggest accomplishment to date is not the garden. I've done a lot of work inside and I have done a lot of work outside with fencing and trees and things like that, but my only disappointment right now is not having a big garden to be planted. All I've got right now is garlic, onions, and potatoes. So I brought some cardboard down and I decided I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the heat of the summer. It's 90 degrees plus here. And I'm going to try to double the size of the garden. And the first step though is what I need to do is I got to screen dirt. Now this is where I'm going to have that sunken patio, and I'll show you a little bit, different vantage points of that. But the reason I can't just take this dirt over and just use it is because it's full of rocks. It's got big rocks, but it's got a lot of these, intermediate size rocks that I don't want to put them in the garden. Small rocks are fine, but yeah. So I got to screen all this dirt, and it's a mixture of all different levels of soil, so it should be some pretty good stuff. It did grow pretty good garlic, but I got to hold this cardboard down because it is windy down here. So I'm not sure how many wheelbarrow loads I'm going to get to today, but I was able to move this much dirt, and I'll show you some other vantage points. But that was quite a bit of soil that I took out today and screened out. And the firewood's actually taller than the weeds in the pile of dirt. So we're getting down there. We're getting to the point where I can start carving out the patio, and I'll be working on that in between indoor projects as long as the heat allows. But it's hot, so got to pick my time to get down here. But here's a vantage point of kind of where I'm going to put the patio. Where that carpet's laying, I'm going to dig all that out and make kind of a horseshoe. And I was able to move probably 9 or 10 wheelbarrow loads of screened soil, just enough to hold the cardboard down, and I can use a rake and spread that around, and then I can start bringing in compost and horse manures, and I'll use some biochar that I have in the blue barrel in the back, and I'm going to build this bed up so that I'm ready to go for next season. And I got more beds to prepare, and I've definitely got to obviously finish these. But I'm happy that I've got a little bit of dirt moved. I was able to get back outside and actually do a little gardening other than just maintenance and mowing. So the next time down, I got to mow. But as you see, here's a big pile of weeds I got to get to. So we'll be that'll be taking shape. And once I have that all carved out, I can put in the patio. But as you see, there's a nice little hump of dirt still to do by the deck. But there's my rock graveyard. So I've got they're not nice rocks, they're just kind of, just rocks. So I got to find a use for those. But I've got quite a few and I can use them for different landscape projects. But we're getting there. Again, we got more weeds to go, but I'll just keep on swimming and do our best. Now we did have a gopher, first sign of gopher. Now this hole here, collapsing a tunnel, was right next to the firewood. So I've got to get rid of this gopher before it gets up under my firewood and causes problems. So used my hand and I just dug it out so I could get a trap in there. And this was kind of a rare occurrence where you find the hole when they're just barely starting to make a tunnel. So he hasn't made a mound here yet. So I should be able to get this gopher. So I just got to clean some soil out, and while it's still making its tunnel, must not be too far down in there. I can get him as he's pushing the initial soil back in. And sure enough, I was able to get him. So they're not the biggest gophers down here, but that's a northern pocket gopher, and gopher number 1 for the year. Now these freeloaders are getting some free meals. They should be out here taking care of the gophers, and I found a couple gophers this year that they've gotten on their own. That's Miss Thing, I'm scratching, and Theo with the white cat. And I decided to call the orange cat Willow from one of my viewers suggested that name. So Willow it is. The one we're missing is Coquette, and that I've had my dog Lincoln down, and Coquette doesn't like Lincoln. But right as I was leaving from the last trip, we got another surprise. We have a cow and calf in the pasture. Again, this pasture isn't big enough to graze 3 large animals for very long, but this pasture's out of control, so we'll get it grazed down quickly, probably in a couple of weeks. And then we'll move these animals over to the neighbors and let them eat up his tall weeds he's still got in the corner. But as you see in the background, he was able to bale that part of the field in the background there. So he got a couple of really big bales, so that was good for him. But happy to see more animals. That means more fertility in the pasture, and I can use some of that cow manure and horse manure and start using it in the garden once I age it a little bit. So anyway, well, that's been what the happenings at the hobby farm. We were doing, we want to get some gardening space going, and again, I got mostly the maintenance to do during the hot summer months, but I'm going to try to get some more dirt moved. And I've got to get on that siding. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I need a little bit of money for that project, so and a little more time. But cardboard is the first step to retaking a weedy, field or a weedy area of the garden and making it into a garden. So anyway, well, thanks for watching this video. And if you like what you see, please hit that like button and subscribe, because that's helping me. My channel's growing, but I need it to grow a lot faster than it is. So if you can help me out with a subscription, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.